The Gods of Destruction being name-dropped in Dragon Ball Super Superhero actually has major implications for the future of Dragon Ball Super. Now, if you've seen my Goku the Ego Destroyer video, you can kind of get an idea of where this video is going. I've been speculating for a while that the story is building up to some kind of miraculous conclusion between Frieza and Vegeta and Beerus and Goku. Goku from the very beginning, as well as Beerus, have both had a very similar attitude when it comes to chasing new challenges, trying to find stronger opponents to face, but the relationship between Beerus and Goku seems to be much more important to the overall narrative of Dragon Ball Super, as well as the relationship between Vegeta and Frieza. Now, in my video, Goku the Ego Destroyer, if you remember, I established that the entire purpose of the Tournament of Power was to have Goku cause all of the multiverse to experience an ego death so that they would be reborn with a new perception of reality, a play on the idea of enlightenment. So essentially, Goku, whose name literally translates to enlightenment, who always wears the term enlightenment on his gi, ends up having the classic effect that he's had on all of the people that he's faced in the past, Piccolo, Vegeta, etc., on the entire multiverse. That was essentially the entire point of the Tournament of Power. And if you remember, in the Tournament of Power, when Goku achieved Ultra Instinct, despite the fact that all of the gods are known to have massive egos and to even use the technique Ultra Ego, they all stood up in respect for Goku after he achieved Ultra Instinct, because it is something that they themselves have not been able to achieve, despite the fact that they are all ancient beings in comparison to Goku. Now, why is this important? Well, the anime tends to tease things that are coming in the future. And like I said, the Gods of Destruction were name-dropped specifically in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So what is coming between Goku, Vegeta, and the Gods of Destruction? Well, I've talked a lot recently about the cycle that Goku and Vegeta represent, the yin and yang-like cycle of creation and destruction that they perpetuate throughout the universe and eventually the multiverse. And if we go back and we look at Dragon Ball Super, there's actually a lot of hints at something huge coming between Goku and Vegeta and the Gods of Destruction. Now that the multiverse has been changed as a result of Goku's influence, Zeno may have the intention of having the Hakaishin, the Gods of Destruction, also experience this Goku effect. So essentially, the idea and what they are building up to is Goku is going to have the same ego-destroying, enlightening effect on the Gods of Destruction as he did the entire multiverse in the Tournament of Power. And there are quite a few reasons I think this. Like I said, in the Tournament of Power, they all stood up in respect for Goku despite the fact that they are all egotistical characters. And they all experienced ego death in their own way by losing their lives, being erased, and being restored in their universe. But I don't think that that is the end of Goku's effect on the Gods of Destruction. As I've established in my previous video, Goku doesn't get to have his classic effect on these characters unless he actually gets to face them in combat. And so, it is very, very, very likely that they are building up to Goku facing all of the Gods of Destruction in order to cause them all to achieve some form of ego death, so that way they can be different, they can improve, and become better beings, much like the mortals that were subjected to this classic effect by Goku in the Tournament of Power. It would make perfect sense narratively for Goku to be the one to face all of the Gods of Destruction and one by one break their egos and eventually build up to facing Beerus, who has the most massive ego out of all of them, and end it all with Goku finally causing Beerus to experience an ego death. I don't think it's a coincidence that we've seen so much change happen with Beerus and his personality. And I also don't think that it's a coincidence that Goku is constantly hanging out with Beerus, wearing his enlightenment gi. As we see this progression of Beerus' character, I don't think that it's a coincidence that we are seeing Goku have some sort of effect on Beerus as the plot progresses. I don't think that that is a coincidence at all. I do think, however, that Beerus is the final God of Destruction that they are going to focus on in terms of Goku breaking their ego and causing them to be awakened to a new perception of reality. Now, why do I think this? It's not necessarily because I think Beerus is the strongest God of Destruction. It's because of his relationship with Goku and the significance of their meeting one another. It's almost as if Beerus is subconsciously trying to find some form of ego death. Now, in terms of his conscious intent, he's more than likely just trying to feed his ego by finding a opponent that has the potential to be stronger than him, defeating him with ease, which would cause him to essentially feed his ego and feel more confident in his ability to use his destruction technique. Remember, Beerus established to us in the Granola arc that he wants to prove that the God of Destruction's technique is superior to Ultra Instinct itself. And so it's very likely that all of the Gods of Destruction might have similar thoughts. They might all want to prove that Ultra Ego is better than Ultra Instinct. And it's a really interesting dynamic because the angels all use Ultra Instinct, and we know the angels are the masters and the servants of all of the gods of destruction, but they are not allowed to use lethal force. They are not allowed to go outside of the laws of their neutrality. Goku does not have that going on, and that is the reason that Goku, as an Ultra Instinct user, has the potential to do something to the gods of destruction that the angels themselves can't, because the angels cannot use their full power against the god of destruction. They can only help train them and guide them on the path to becoming better martial artists. So if Goku was to ever face the gods of destruction, due to the fact that he doesn't have that holding him back, despite the fact that Goku is likely the bottom of the barrel in terms of Ultra Instinct users amongst angels, the fact that he is allowed to use conscious intent in terms of wanting to defeat the gods of destruction in combat, fair and square, suggests that Goku is capable of doing something to the gods of destruction that the angels themselves are not. Because Goku is not an angel, he's a mortal. And for a mortal to attain the enlightened state of the gods and to one by one defeat them in combat would completely shatter all of the gods of destruction's perception of their place in reality and their place in the universe. And again, I don't think it was a coincidence that the gods of destruction were name dropped in Dragon Ball Super Superhero along with Frieza, because I do think that there is a simultaneous buildup happening here with Vegeta focusing on Frieza, a being who has proven time and time again, despite the fact that he has went through the cycle of life and death, that he has no intentions of ever being a better person, despite the fact that he uses martial arts to tame his ego, and that causes him to be a better person. Inside, he is still evil. He is still rotten to the core. He has no intentions of changing his ways, and he also has the goal itself of dethroning Zeno. Very, very different to the gods of destruction, who all stood up in respect to Goku, who all seem to have a very martial arts-like mentality, and who all respect the authority of Zeno himself. Remember that the gods of destruction themselves were once all mortals, and that the goal of the angels is to teach the gods Ultra Instinct, which is the Dragon Ball equivalent of enlightenment within the context of martial arts. And so Goku leading the gods of destruction towards this is very, very likely. This means that the gods of destruction, due to their martial arts-like mentality, are much more easily subjected to the effect that Goku could have on them than someone like Frieza. Essentially, despite the fact that Goku has had some sort of effect on him, it's a twisted, warped version of the effect that Goku normally has on his opponents. Frieza is taking the benefits of Goku's teachings and using them to be more evil rather than good. He's using the martial arts practices that he's emulating from Goku, that he saw from Super Saiyan Goku on Namek, to essentially further his agenda rather than just trying to be stronger and be a better martial artist. Overall, he has an agenda at the end of the day that his martial arts practices are feeding into. Whereas with the gods of destruction, their goal is just to create stronger, better mortals. And what better way to learn about the peak of mortal development than to be defeated by the peak of mortal development via Goku? So I do think that they are building up to something huge with Goku and the gods of destruction. I think it's definitely something to be hype about, because I don't think they were name dropped for no reason, and you can definitely see a visible buildup between Vegeta and Frieza and Goku and Beerus, but not just Goku and Beerus, but also the gods of destruction. Now, in terms of Vegeta's role with the god of destruction, it's very likely that he may be the answer to the gods of destruction who reject an ego death, who reject growth. Vegeta can also serve as a piece in the puzzle to help the gods of destruction through this cycle of creation and destruction, in order to also determine what gods are going to benefit from this effect that Goku offers them and what gods are not. So the idea that the gods of destruction themselves would be subjected to the cycle of creation and destruction is just a really cool idea to me. And the idea that Goku could serve as a form of enlightenment for all of the gods of destruction and push them towards the next level of power is also a ridiculously cool idea to me. And I think that that may very well be what they're building up to. Again, I don't think that they name drop the gods of destruction for no reason, and there's a very clear build-up happening, not only in Dragon Ball Super Superhero the film, but also in the manga. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.